Hello and welcome to the first video, hopefully the first of many, where I basically ramble about incoherent bollocks and show you some videos of games that I've played. Best ones, obviously, which isn't many. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing pleasure, our first replay. T69 gameplay. T69, of course, being the American Tier 5 turreted tank destroyer. And, well, what is there to say on it? It was developed in the spring of 1942. First with a 57mm gun, but testing showed this to be inadequate, especially when dealing with the likes of Panzer IIIs and IVs. It was later upgunned to a 75mm gun. Like most of the Tier 5 tank destroyers, has no armour and very little health. Health stands at only 360 health points, so if you run into a Tier 6 Russian heavy tank, he's going to kill you. Hull armour is negligible, it's only 12mm at the thickest. Turret armour has been 25mm, so the front of the turret is the most heavily armoured part of the tank. But where this thing really shines is its mobility. As you can probably see here, in next to no time I've run right up to this part of the map and I've just been spotted. Not entirely sure by what, although I have a feeling we're going to find out sooner or later. Ooh, speaking of which, there he is. That is a T67 on their team by the looks of it. Difficult to tell in this current window, I don't have it full screen. Quickly to deal with that annoyance. Yes, T67s did spot me. I believe it was him anyway. So what was I saying? Oh yes, top speed. This thing has a top speed of around 61 kilometers an hour. That is without adding any premium consumables or whatever to it. And yes, someone's driving a Panzer IV without the derp gun. If he had been using the derp gun, he would have killed me outright. So yes, my colleague just appears to have been blown to pieces by artillery there. Ooh, hello. Anyway, yes, like most Tier 5 tank destroyers, in fact all of them I believe, with the possible exception of the AT2, you can't afford to get shot at in this thing. The armour is simply appalling, and the health points mean you can't rely on them either. As is going to become painfully apparent here. Yes, the Death Toaster did just put one into me, and as a result I'm staying nowhere near him. Cheeky little shot into him just before I get away. But yes, this tank is armed with a rapid-firing 76mm gun. Reload of just over 3 seconds, so this thing can very quickly rack up a hell of a lot of damage if you let it. And so, yeah, I think all three the enemy artillery were staring at that guy, and now he's dead. And now I have a full health Churchill 3 to deal with. Not actually full health, but his nearest makes a difference. Yes, this doesn't look good, but luckily my artillery have now decided to show him some love as well. As he comes over the top, he gets finished off. Now over there, you can see a Panzer 1C. Very, very dangerous tank, light tank. And a Hetzer, both of which will kill me within seconds if they spot me. Hello, another Tier 5 tank destroyer has just appeared. Stuck. Another tank just like the T67 that can't afford to get hit. But unfortunately, he does. Brief quiet spot. So yes, wrapping up on the T67. This thing can't afford to get hit, can't afford to get seen for that matter, but luckily with binoculars, which I haven't got equipped in this replay, but I did go off and equip them afterwards, has a very good view range, as you'd expect. With no roof of a turret, you can see pretty much everywhere. Also, very, very slow turret rotation speed. It is, after all, a turreted tank destroyer, and as such, it needs to have something which is going to nerf it in some way. And look at him scuttle away like a cockroach. Come back here! Ooh, I'll kill your friend first, but don't go too far. I will be with you in just a moment. Oh, someone else got him. Ah, where do you think you're going, sunshine? Time to... Oh. Typical Frenchie. Runs away suspicious. Runs away ridiculously quickly. We'll just... we'll find him in a minute, but the bird's going hiding around here somewhere, and I don't really want to get shotgunned by him. So... And that's when I run into him. There he is. Hello. One shot into him, but I don't want to go around this corner because I know what will happen. And he fires and misses. Oh dear, how sad. Time to die. Yeah, and the Frenchie is also taking pot shots at me, it appears. Well, that may have been friendly artillery. If it was, he was very lucky not to hit me. Where are you, Frenchie? Got some good old American freedom. Where are you? Well, he just took a pot shot at me, so I know he's not over there. And at this point, I'm also quite worried about the other two. There's a Renault G1R, I believe that's what it's called. That's spotted over there. Yeah, no, fair enough, but he can kill me. There's also an OI experimental. Very, very dangerous heavy tank, and it's very, very fast. There's also a Panzer 1C. Ah, there's the Frenchie. Didn't get him in the end, but yes, Panzer 1C, very, very dangerous. And I've also just noticed there's an 82 hiding in the base. Yes, that thing has over 200mm frontal armor and he's hiding. Pop up, kill the OI experimental. Now, very worried about where the other two are, but as it happens, didn't need to be. Because there they are, and if you can't quite see it, yes, the Renault is on his side, and the Panzer 1C is underneath the OI experimental. Yes, it's up to me and a Sentinel to go and flush these guns out because the others are hiding in the base, including a Churchill 3, I might add. Try and set this around fire, but doesn't really need to. The rate of fire of this gun means he's not getting anywhere. Not even he clearly doesn't want to go anywhere. Now the Panzer 1C believes he's safe under there, and for a moment, myself and the Sentinel sort of sit around and think, what are we going to do here? But then, yeah, wasn't as safe as he thought he was. So yes, the results of the T67 gameplay: 1600 damage, just under 1700 damage actually. Special thanks to MP Livis. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Why do you choose such difficult names? Some people, honestly. In the Sentinel for doing 571 damage of his own and sticking with me, even if the Churchill 3 and the 82 decided that they were far, far better to sit in the base all game. Even though they're the most heavily armoured tanks on the entire team, and their guns aren't particularly accurate at range. Okay, second replay. This is the Jagdtiger 88. Possibly one of my favourite tier 8 tanks, if not the favourite tier 8 tank. It is a premium, no longer available except on special events, and is extremely well armoured, especially for a tank destroyer. Look at that. 250mm of frontal plate on the upper casement, my apologies. The arm profiling everywhere else is it's decent. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. Don't expect this thing to be bouncing shots off tier 9s, because it can't. The frontal hull is the same as a King Tiger's, which again is not bad, but it's not something you should be relying on. 200mm on the front of the hull, and a low glazes is weaker, so that's a definite weak spot. You need to hide that whenever using it. It is basically a tier 9 tank destroyer chassis with a tier 7 gun and a slightly more powerful engine than a stock Jagdtiger. Not saying much, because this tank, although going downhill, it's, you know, pretty speedy. You can up to 35 miles an hour, not bad for a 60-ton machine. But going uphill, as you just saw, 10 kilometers an hour, not brilliant. It means this thing can't really respond very quickly to changing situations. But that's the price you pay for carrying lots of very heavy armour around. Although the gun is smaller in calibre than its big brother at tier 9, it does mean that it gets a ridiculous DPM. Out the box, for a 100% crew, this tank will do 2,666 damage on average a minute. Although with improved vents and a 110% trained crew, along with a gun rammer, I've managed to get mine up to 3,060 damage per minute. Over 3,000 damage. That's a ridiculous amount. Do not sit in front of this thing. And we're just going to stop here briefly to deal with this T-34. One at the back of the turret. Reverse back, reload. Okay. Push forward slightly. Another one at the back, trying to set him on fire. Doesn't matter, the T-44 comes forward, finishes him off. Here comes an IS-3 and... yep. Straight through the front of the hull. Again, this thing, although it's heavily armoured, hull armour is not something you should be relying on. The casement is what you should be relying on. Get this thing into a hold down position and it will eat shots all day long. And you will laugh at the amount of people who try and get to the front of this thing's casement and just fail utterly. Okay, around this corner, there he is the tank this vehicle is based off of, the King Tiger, and look how quickly this thing's reloading. Ready, fire, he's dead. Using a stock turret, that guy. Unfortunate. If you want a Tiger 2, that's what you're going to have to put up with initially, before you get the top turret. Yeah. Type 59 trying to make a break for freedom. Get a cheeky shot into his arse before he gets away, and oh dear. 87 has just realised he's not going to get away from here, so he's trying to turn around. But the rate this thing fires means he's lost pretty much all his health before he even brings the gun around to fire. And he's gone. Admittedly, help from a type, and yeah, the AMX 5100 knows he's not getting away either. Fires one shot into me and it bounces harmlessly off my casement. Yeah, 87, I have to drive that thing. Not very good. Though the grind is worth it to get the AT-15. Next up, next customer. Yes, get your free German sausages. Oh dear. The Type 59 pattern, or the T-59 pattern, sorry, really had nowhere else to go. Like a lot of these guys here, nowhere to go. We're just a storm of tanks come rushing around the corner with a Jagdtiger at the front. That's the thing, if you want to keep this thing at the fight, you've really got to keep it moving. It can work as a sniper, the gun is very rapid firing and very accurate, but oh, hello. You can't really rely on the targets coming to you in some cases, and in this sort of match you've got to really push. Let's deal with this Ferdinand who is sitting side on like a billboard. Don't get to kill him, which does irritate me slightly. But hey, that's the way things are. Nashorn, no armour, time to kill him. There you go. In reality, this tank was designed to use a 128mm gun. It was designed to knock out IS-2s and the big, scary tanks the Russians were fielding at the time of 1944 and 1945. In reality, though, there were never enough 128mm guns to go around, and as such, he's popped out, no armour, time to die, bounce off me, haha. this tank was more often than not fitted with this 88mm gun, which is more than adequate to deal with T-34s and Shermans, which are the majority of the vehicles being used by the Russians and the Allies at the time. Yeah, this is basically just mopping up now. I've got a KV-3 on his own. I say on his own. There is another T-150 is somewhere. I think he's going to pop up on the map pretty soon. He turns out to be on the other side of the valley, miles away from me, and he's got Rheinmetall-Borsig problems to deal with anyway, so... And an ISU-152 to deal with as well. So you can imagine how well that goes for him. But myself and this Super Pershing are going to have our way with this KV-3. I'm not really sure where the T-29's going, what he thought he was going to achieve down there. Maybe he went looking for a T-150 and then... I don't know, but he's not going to get there, not with the 2 Tier 8 tank destroyers. In fact, he's dead already. Cheeky shot to Commander's Cupola, and he can shoot me in my casement all he likes. It's not going to have an effect. He's just wasting credits at this point, and ammunition. Next up. You can sometimes get a shot through the gun mantlet on the KV-3, but not always. You need a bigger caliber gun, really, for than the 88. And the Super Pershing cleans his clock, punches his ticket, and kills him. Just a few ground-keeping rules here, because I messed up and completely forgot to, talk about the Jagdtiger. I got distracted. Anyway, as I stated, there weren't enough 128mm guns to go around, and as such, this tank is actually a lot more of a realistic version of the Jagdtiger actually looked like, as most are armed with the 88mm guns seen on the Jagdtiger 88, hence the bloody name. But now I've got that bollocks out of the way, the results of that game. Yes, Ace Tanker, High Caliber, and Confederate. Over 5,000 damage. This was my first Ace Tanker in the Jagdtiger 88, and really goes to show how well people are doing in it. You have to do 5,000 damage to get an Ace Tanker badge in it, which is a lot for me, because I'm hopeless. And only 1,108 E. Damage blocked by armour. Again, I got quite lucky in that match. People weren't generally shooting at me, but as so happens, just yesterday I managed to get a match where they wouldn't do anything else but shoot at me. Didn't shoot me in the right place, mind you, but they still shot at me. Final replay. Now, we're going to go out with something a little bit more controversial, shall we say. This is the OI. It is the Tier 6 Japanese super heavy prototype tank. Yes. Well, what's to say about it? When you think of this tank, one number should completely fill your mind. 150. Because it describes most things about this tank, apart from the speed. The gun, 150mm in caliber. The weight, 150 tons, which is a lot. The armour, 150mm front and back and all over the turret. This thing is armoured like Fort Knox and has more guns than Texas. And as you can probably see, they're just as well regulated. So about this thing in real life? Well, in real life this thing was designed for use against the Americans, obviously being Japanese. Only a rolling chassis was made, and it was dismantled after a while. Apparently a fully working variant did go to Manchuria, although no one's been able to find it, and there's no evidence of it at all. So this game is a city map, and yes, this is the natural home of the OI, with this very, very inaccurate but highly, highly powerful derp gun. Just really than the high explosive, because this thing gets 75mm of penetration with its high explosive, and does 910 damage per hit. Basically, if you're in a tank, don't sit in front of this thing if you think it's loaded, because it is going to either kill you or severely hurt you. I am platooned up with my two good friends, Mr. Invictus Viper and Dat Bacon. Yes, who is over there in his KV-2, the king of derp. Many people have claimed that the OI is currently trying to claim the title of King of Derp away from the KV-2. That is why I have referred to this as the uderpa. Yes, original, I know. And oh dear. And that's why you don't sit in front of this thing. Even if you are in what appears to be a heavily armoured tank. I know that wasn't, it was a Skoda T24. It's got the same armour as paper. But even so, you're just asking for trouble. This thing will easily one-shot any tier 5 it comes across. Tier 6s, some can withstand a hit, but not many. And even if it doesn't penetrate and kill you, like the KV-1S found out, it will really, really hurt. Yes, the gun is what makes this tank bounce. Is what makes this tank so impressive. 150mm derp gun at tier 6. Sorry. Only the KV-2 gets a bigger gun, and that's by just 2mm. And he was very, very lucky not to die to that. Apparently, the space armor does have an effect on high explosive shells. Yes, there's a 25-second reload with this gun. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And it's not very accurate at anything up to point-blank range. Anything apart from point-blank range, my apologies. So yes, this thing should not be used at long range, and this is why city street fighting is very, very good for this tank. It has lots of armor, it's very slow, and it has a very, very powerful gun which is horribly, horribly inaccurate unless you are very, very close to the target. So yeah, this is a typical puppy kicking match at the moment in this tank, because, as I say, this is ideal territory for it. The armour on the side is 80mm, but it is space, so again, don't try shooting it there. And, oh, another OI, bang, back at the side of the turret. 150mm of armour on the side, in fact, all over the turret. So again, don't shoot at the turret, because it's the most heavily armoured part of the tank. Sit back, wait for the gun to reload. Mr. Viper is going to assist me in dealing with this annoyance. This tank has a 25-second reload. I get a shot in the back there from Panzer IV. Did next to no damage. And the OI gets executed by me. Yes, as I said, this bounce was probably from the Hellcat, judging from where he was last. Actually, it could have been the Panzer IV, but that's an OI. That's an OI. That's no... Oh dear. Yes, the OI is pretty potent to itself as well as everybody else. So, yes, as I said, this thing has a 25-second reload. That's with 100% crew, I might add. Admittedly, I haven't got any swarm gun ram or anything like that to improve it, but even so, I don't see the point really, because the rate of fire is horrible. Enemy OI drives up sideways on 80mm of armour. The problem is he's going to reload before I do. But luckily my wingman Victor's Viper drives out. Pretty ecstatic of that. I didn't really want to get hit by him again. Drives out, sets him on fire and kills him. Sit here, get me trying back up, and then start worrying about what else is going on. And it's about this point that a KV-2 appears, and Mr. Viper is quick to get a shot into him. I fire and miss, and unfortunately that costs Viper his tank. Yes, as I said, this thing was horribly inaccurate. If you don't let it fully aim, it's gonna miss most of the time. As it should. I mean, with a gun this powerful, it should miss if it's not fully aimed. I'm very worried about the location of that Hellcat, because he was last spotted over there, in a prime position to shoot me in the arse, and I will never see him, because this thing is as blind as a bat. And there he is. Late reaction from me, immediately repair my ammo rack, because otherwise this thing has a 1-minute reload with a damaged ammo rack. I shudder to think what the result would be if it had a dead loader as well. Easy 8 Sherman pops out, decides he's going to put a couple of shots at me, but he's aiming for the side armour. It's better if he just aims for the flat plate underneath the turret, because that's much better. It's flat, but he's just aiming for my side armour, and 150mm derp to the front of the turret, and I'm worried to death that his KV-2 is going to finish me off. But fortunately, even in death, the Viper serves, and well, T-34 pops out, puts a cheeky little shot into the side of me. I have to back off in the situation. I can't go any further forward, not with him sitting there. but I have a Hellcat behind me and a KV-2 in front of me. This situation is going to be resolved quite quickly with the help of that T-34 over there. Wait for it. Wait for it. And smack. Not really sure what the not the Hellcat, the T-34 was thinking there. Apparently he lagged out. I've no idea if he actually did or not, but either way, that was a one-way ticket to a burning wreck. Now I can back off here, get into some cover from the KV-2, reload my gun, because the Hellcat is no longer there, as the Stug is, you know, proving, because he's not getting shot at. Guns reloaded, pop round, see if the KV-2's there. He isn't. Push forward again. It took me about half an hour to get down the end of the street, because, as I said, this thing is very, very slow. KV-2 pops out, but luckily he's more preoccupied with the heavy tank number 6. The Tier 6 Tiger. Sorry. Yeah, the Tier 6 Tiger. I don't know why the heavy tank number 6 doesn't go around and finish off that KV-2, but I have problems of my own, and it's coming in the form of him. There's the Hellcat. He flies on the move, misses the side of me somehow, point blank range, and swing the gun around and execute him. This tank shooting at Hellcats. It's a filthy, filthy, filthy pleasure, but I love it. And well, this match is pretty much over. From here on, I basically drive around the corner and shotgun the KV-2 in the arse, killing him outright. Again, I'm not sure why the heavy tank number 6 didn't finish him off, but for whatever reason, he gives me the kill. Maybe it was just good sportsmanship, I don't know. Now, during that replay, I didn't really explain the downsides of an OI. Clearly, it's very, very powerful, with a very, very dangerous gun and lots of armor. So what are the downsides to it? Well, it's very slow. Seriously, glaciers will go faster than this. It relies more sort of on the movement of the continents to get it to where it needs to be. And being very large and very slow, it is an artillery magnet. Artillery loves shooting at the OI because they can't possibly miss. So if you do have one of these things in your team, don't sit near it, because otherwise you're going to get blown to pieces from the little bastards hiding at the back in the woods. So yes, now I've got that bollocks out of the way, just a quick look at the post-battle results screen. Most successful game in the OI. Obviously I'm cherry-picking my best results here, because most of them are horrifically bad. But anyway, Ace Tanker, Steel Wall, Top Gun, High Caliber. Yes. Sorry, Squire, I didn't mean to nick that off you. Damage, standing at around 2,940, a smidgen under 3,000. If only the KV-2 had been on a bit more health. Damage blocked, 1,570. So, yeah, the armour does take a lot of hits. Unsurprisingly, being 150mm thick, pretty much everywhere, apart from the sides. 9 hits, and 6 kills. Oh yes. I was very lucky that match there was no artillery involved, otherwise that would have been very different for me. I would have been plastered all over Siegfried Line like some cheap wallpaper. Now, some of you may remember I said this tank was very heavy. In fact, I stated it was 150 tons, which is heavier than a KV-4 or 5, and as a result, under no circumstances should you try and ram one, no matter what you're driving. Case in point, that is an AT-15A, Tier 7 Premium British Tank Destroyer. This obviously is an OI. He weighs in at about 65 tons to 68. I weigh 150. And, well, yeah. Thanks for the kamikaze. That's all, folks, and with any luck, I'll catch you next time. If this proves when he's successful. Obviously, if you have any criticisms, constructive, obviously, leave them in the comment section below. Like, favourite, subscribe. Can't believe I've said that. Anyway, like, favourite, subscribe if you did like. My name's In Black Knight, and I will catch you next time.